welcome back to our channel. It is a Tribe Called Dhillon podcast. I'm Angie Dhillon.
And I'm Rose Dhillon.
And I'm Alvin Dhillon.
Hope you had a great week. As you can see, we are rocking some football jerseys.
Whoop, whoop.
We should do the whoop because none of our teams made it. None of our teams made it in, which is basically they're not going to be in the Super Bowl, which means they didn't make the cut in the AFC and the NFC conference. They just didn't make it. So what do you think happened with our teams?
Well, before you go on, we're also wearing Wilson, who does no longer plays for Seattle. But this is an old jersey, and this is all we had. So
yeah, and maybe that's why Seattle didn't make it because Russell Wilson left,
right.
yo.
Yeah.
But we don't really know why Seattle. Maybe they just didn't play well. Their defense wasn't so good. Offense, all those buzzwords they use. Like, I'm not going to be commentating on that. But Al, your team didn't make it either. Mm-mm. Why didn't the Raiders make it?
And this is the old Raiders jersey too. And they're in Oakland, which is probably the original Raiders because they just moved to Vegas.
They moved to Vegas, but they're still called Raiders, of course.
Yeah.
They're just no longer Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, they're Las Vegas
Raiders.
Okay, but that's okay. We're still, this whole episode today is dedicated to football, all things football. We're going to talk about the halftime shows, the commercials, and you best believe the tribe's going to talk about food because by now, 1 year of listening to us, you all know that we love food. So we want to make sure that if you are hosting a Super Bowl party, depending upon when you watch this, whether you watch it after the Super Bowl or before, you're going to make sure you have a kick-ass party when you're throwing one. So let's get into our win of the week segment. Please think about yours. Over to you, Rose.
All right. So my win of the week is I listened to the autobiography of Elon Musk by William Isaacson. Wow. First of all, I gave that man 30 hours of my life because that's how long the audiobook was. So it took me 3 weeks to get through it. But it was inspirational. He definitely is a visionary. What I love about writers is when they give you the details, the absolute details, so that when your imagination can go and feel like you're in that scene with them. That's what I love. And William did a great job of this. The only thing I would say is he had someone else read the book, and I would have loved his voice in it because he starts off with reading the introduction and then he moves it over to somebody else.
Off reading the
William Isaacson is the writer, and he starts off with giving the introduction. And so you really feel captivated by he was there. He spent time with them. And then he passes it over to someone else to read the rest of the book. Okay. So it was a little hard in the beginning for me to connect, but as you guys, and I'm sure the viewers know, I'm a bit of a fan of Elon. So I went through the whole thing, and this man's a little crazy. I'm not going to lie. He's a little cray-cray, but he is definitely a visionary. And I would say to listen to this book, it was fun. And you just, wow. Like, I just learned so much about the way he runs his businesses, the way he thinks, the way he processes information. He's got Asperger's, so he's not able to kind of emotionally process information. And I think that makes a really big difference that people don't realize that you don't like him owning Twitter. You're like, oh yeah, probably wasn't a good idea.
Back it up. You just said something right now called Asperger's.
Yeah, Asperger's. What does that mean? It's a disorder on the autism spectrum. So I don't know a lot of it. My cousin had just educated me over the weekend, so I don't want to say things that I'm not sure. But apparently, what it is, it's the ability to not kind of feel human emotions. Like he's not able to have empathy.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when he yells and screams at his employees and they're all upset, he's like, why just move on? It's not personal because he doesn't have the ability to feel that himself.
Okay. So, and it's called
Asperger's.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. And I think I don't think he said on there, he suffers from some ADHD as well. And they also said in the book that they think that he might have bipolar, but he's just never been diagnosed or taken any medication for
He's such a genius, right?
Yeah.
So it makes, like, most people that have that kind of capacity, you got to have a little crazy in you because you're functioning at a level that people can't even connect with or relate to.
He's our generation of Albert Einstein.
I was just saying, they're going to say that you took the words out of my mouth, Angie. We really are connected.
He's genius.
He's genius. Absolutely. So that was my win. It was a great 30 hours.
Good for you. We have a running joke. As some of you know, we've spoken about this on a previous episode. We have nicknames for each of us, and we have one for Rose because Rose is fascinated and she has like a borderline obsession with Elon Musk. So we call him Elu. So you're going to be one day talking to Elu. So
I just said to my cousin the other day, I'm actually going to say her name, my cousin Priscilla. And I go, she's like, yeah, you really do like him a lot. You should meet him. I'm like, I should. How do I do that? She's like, I don't know. You live in America. Figure it out. And I'm like, no, help me. I need your help.
I want to meet him without being that stalker person that's been hiding in the bushes for 2 weeks, waiting for him to get home, checking his flights.
Hey, isn't there that Hindi song like Ilu Ilu? Ilu Ilu or something?
Don't ask me. I would have no idea.
You have to think outside the box for him to get his attention. So maybe send that song like Ilu Ilu or something like that.
He's probably thinking this is spam. He's like, it's not even a language I understand.
We'll make a reel or something endearing that where he's going to have to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I would love to meet him one day. I would love to interview him one day.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
put into the universe, you probably will one day.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so if Elu, aka Elon Musk, is watching this and listening to this, Rose, love it. We all do. We're all big fans, but she's a super fan. Yeah, how they say in India, like upar se, super se, like uttar se. So you're a super fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's like, it's mind blasting.
Totally. Okay, Al, your win of the week.
My win is actually kind of somewhat, now that I thought about it, that we're doing the Super Bowl episode, it's sports related. So my good bro Riz, he's very athletic and he's always been trying to push me to exercise and go to the gym and just be more energetic. And I'm usually just out of spite, I would say, no, I'm not going. But he said, okay, if you're not going to go, at least try these new supplements that I've been taking. He's like, it's called AG1. And I'm like, what's AG1? He's like, it's called Athletic Greens. It replaces your multivitamin, your probiotics, and a whole other spectrum of supplements I usually take, because I do take quite a few supplements because I want to but I cycle it. I'll take it for a couple months and I stop. So he said, just try this. Like, it's increased my energy dramatically. He's like, I feel so much better. And he's been on it for a couple months. So I said, okay, if it's been a couple months for you and it's working, I'll give it a try. So it's actually not too bad if you compare yourself how much you would spend on other supplements. It costs about 120 Canadian a month. So I said, I just got it last week. And he said, you got to do it on an empty stomach. And I said, I don't want to have any issues taking it on an empty stomach my first try. So I'm going to give it a go on a weekend when I have some time and see how I feel. So hopefully tomorrow or next week, I will give it a go. But I'm excited. So my box came in and all my supplements.
Mm-hmm. And you told us about it.
Yeah.
He was telling us. So we ordered it as well.
Yeah.
Mine's coming next week. But here's the thing, though. Riz is an athlete. He's a soccer player. Mm-hmm. He has abundance of energy. We've been around him. Mm-hmm. His energy is contagious.
He's always high energy.
Yeah. And so I don't even think if he didn't take AG1, it would just be just his zest for life.
I think it makes sense that he's been taking this because he's been annoying me even more. So I was like, you know what? I was like, there's something going on here. He's put this into high gear. I was like, he's always on me now. Like, you have sent me a message again. So make sure you try it. Make sure you try it. Hey, did you order it yet? So I said, I have ordered it. I'm going to try. He's like, did you try it? I was like, no, I'm saving it for the weekend. He's like, why? Just take it. And I was like, I'm ending this call.
Oh, well, good for your friend for, taking care,
right.
I guess, just
looking out for his
That's what he's always doing stuff. He always wants to make me do better and be better. So I was like, but I usually recognize it like a week later after I'm just like, oh, he's so annoying. And I think, oh, he just wants me to be better and feel better. So shout out to you, bro.
Good.
Haven't tried it yet, but one day, one of these days.
No, but it's a great win because now that you told Al about it, Al told me, told Rose, and so it's like literally a domino effect. And now we're talking about it on our show today.
He was like, not even sounding to me like, he's like, you need to take this. He's like, if you take multivitamins and other supplements, you're going to appreciate this. So I looked up the ingredients myself and I said, oh, Dr. Huberman sponsors this. And quite a few people are taking it and the reviews are pretty phenomenal on there. So I said,
yeah, I know that they basically made their logo, I guess their name much more catchy because Athletic Greens has been around for a while. I was kind of doing some homework.
Heard of it until about 2 weeks ago.
The minute they did AG1, it became more catchy. It just sounds cooler.
It sounds better too. Like AG1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it's almost kind of like you're aging better. Like something like that.
All right, let's get your win in.
Okay, my win is a really good win. So for the past, I'd say a couple of years, this is terrible. My mattress was doing me a number, like waking up with back pain. And the Indian in me, because I bought the mattress about 6 years ago. Within the first 2 years, this mattress was giving me some issues. And I'm like, I paid a lot of money. There's no way that I'm going to go purchase another mattress. And when you try and deal with the warranty period and dealing with all that stuff, I was like, forget it. So finally, I was like, enough is enough. It is a new year. It's a new me, and I need a new mattress. So I went and finally pulled the trigger and bought a Casper mattress. Touchdown!
Casper's a great mattress.
Touchdown! Because it's life-changing. And I'm not trying to promote this particular brand, but if, for those of you that are back sleepers, side sleepers, if you have even back issues, I was in a car accident about 25 years ago, so I did sustain a back injury. Life-changing sleep. So I'm sleeping like a baby. I have so much more energy. And now I understand when they say that if the quality of your sleep is affected, look at all avenues. Like, why are you not sleeping well? Is it like because of your mattress? Is it something going on because you're constantly racing thoughts? Or just at the end of the day, sleep is important. So I just want to say that I finally pulled the trigger and bought a mattress. So I'm very happy about that.
Congratulations.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's get
do
into
it.
our segment
Super
today here.
Bowl.
Okay, so here we go. Now, as of taping today, so I want to just make this clear. As we're taping today, we don't know what teams are actually going to be in the Super Bowl. So what I can tell you right now is that the remaining teams while we're recording are the teams that we're going to just touch on and talk briefly about. So right now, for the AFC conference, the two teams that are going to be battling it out are the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mahomes.
And Taylor Swift. Who's not really a player, but the amount of camera time she gets, you think she's a player.
Oh my God, can we talk about that? Okay, but let's come back to that. And then for the NFC conference, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Detroit Lions. But get this here. So we know right now that Taylor is coming to all of the games for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
But there's not a lot of attention being brought to this individual. So guess who's coming to all of the games for the Detroit Lions? Like, who hasn't missed a game, apparently. So Eminem, the rapper. Eminem, he's
from Detroit.
Yeah, he's a Detroit native, so he's been coming to every game. So he's like their ambassador.
Wow.
But you know
Never
what he's
heard.
talking
I
about?
didn't even hear about him going there anywhere.
Because it's the Swift effect. Listen, if you're not,
Nobody-
But Eminem has his own cult following himself. But obviously, he hasn't come out with an album. But you think there'd be someone that's gonna? I had no idea.
He's getting overshadowed by
news
Tay
to
Tay.
me.
Yeah.
This is news to
around
me.
the world.
Yeah. Tay Tay is overshadowing him.
Yep.
So I just want to get into
Understandable.
this. I watch football or predominantly anytime there's a sports game, when it's sports, and it's basically like you've got the NBA championship games, you've got, with the BC Lions, they call the Grey Cup. In hockey, when we have the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, it's the only time
Me too.
I'm
It's
really going to
fun.
watch it. It's exciting because it means more, right? The teams have to really duke it out and may the best team win at the end of the day. So same goes here for this sort of stuff here. It's one of those things now I've kind of jumped on the wagon, and the amount of publicity that Taylor and the amount of attention that she's bringing to the NFL and per se Kansas City, their organization, I'm like, it's a little extra now. It's getting a little. I like Taylor.
It's a little
Swift.
wild. No, I think it's great. It just goes to show you how the power of Taylor Swift. That's really what it comes down
And
to.
she mostly,
Damn.
I'm pretty sure she only spends like positivity and like doing better and like taking chances. So that's what people need. And I think that's why she has such a cult following, because the younger generation, the little girls and the teenagers, they like idolize her. And if you actually go back and look at a lot of her videos, she's not overtly sexual, or her lyrics aren't related to that. It's all about like breakups and boys and also like doing your best and uniting people. So people start like connecting with that, especially if you're a parent and you have your kids saying, hey, you got two options. You can either listen to Taylor Swift or you can listen to this other rapper like butt naked all the time. And all you see is their music videos are everyone just like popping Molly and doing stuff. So who are you going to put your kids onto? Because everyone's addicted to their iPad now and on their phone. They're watching somebody. You're going to put them to Taylor Swift. And now kids are actually, maybe they're seeing in their own kids that they're doing better, or they're thinking better and they're being better. Maybe it's to the Taylor Swift effect.
Good point, Al.
Yeah, Swiftie effect. I agree.
Swiftie effect.
Now let's talk about what do you think is the fascination with football, because it is the most watched sport in America. It trumps basketball, right?
Yep.
What do you think is the craze about it?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, living in America, it's been everywhere you go. Like, I remember being in Minnesota, and it was funny how the Minnesota Vikings had lost. And I couldn't believe how many people on the street were like depressed, walking around. Like, and I was like, it's a business at the end of the day. Like, yes, I know it's your team and they walk, but like, don't let it ruin your whole day. And that's when I was like, wow, this really is like it's a part of the DNA. It's part of the culture in America. So for me, I think the sport's a little aggressive. We know that there's a lot of concussions that have happened. It's a little scary, but maybe it brings people together, and it's fun. The Super Bowl to me is exciting. I look forward to the commercials. I look forward to having our parties where we eat good food, and I love watching the halftime performance. So for me, it's like, this is a good time.
Mm-hmm. Al, what about you? Why do you think football is such a big deal?
I think when you have like the sports at that level, you have to look at like, how did it get there? So if you follow it and you go back to as little as elementary and high school, their infrastructure down there is mostly built for like kids that they play sports. They generally over there don't play soccer first. Basketball is usually the tight first or second. And they go to football because they built their fields first for football. They don't have soccer fields there by default. There'll be football and then basketball. Basketball's a little easier because you just have the concrete in the hoops. But I think that's what they build it for. And it's kind of like an outlet, like how, boys like to like rustle around and fight. They're always aggressive. So it's a good sport to take your energy out. And essentially when you see like the locker room talk, it's like you are going out to kill. Like
wow, really?
Remember the players, like, all they do is that they're going head on, like smoking each other. You're going out to really eliminate that team because you want to win. And when you're in that mode, what do you think is going to happen? It's not hey guys, we're going to play touch football and flag football. You're going out to like basically take that person out. And now they started implementing quite a few rules to obviously minimize that because people are getting like career-ending injuries.
Right.
But that's just the nature of the game. It's an aggressive sport. If you look at hockey's just as aggressive.
Yeah.
They go faster. They're going on like a skates at like 40 miles an hour and they're like railing that person against the boards.
Yeah.
So, but if you go back to the infrastructure, it looks like in high school and college, like people get college scholarships because they were so good in football.
Yeah.
So everything is catered around that, and they look as like that's your goal to get to get to the NFL. So if you look at come to Canada, by default where we live, it's soccer is your first sport. Growing up in high school and in elementary, you're like, basketball was there, but it wasn't like the first choice. Everyone defaulted to soccer first.
Yeah. And I think it's because of the British still being the Commonwealth in Canada.
Probably.
Makes sense
That
why we would, influence of having soccer here and in America.
If you want to start a football league here and you want to say, okay, where are we going to play? Like, I couldn't even tell you where the football stadiums are, or like the elementary or high school. I know where all the soccer and the basketball places are, but I have no idea where you play football.
Good point.
Yeah, football is definitely such a very physical sport. I know last week when I was watching Mahomes play, and he kept getting sacked. And I felt the pain. And then I was thinking, can you imagine if the three of us, first of all, the minute if someone was running towards me, I ain't even going to run the ball in the direction that I'm supposed to score a touchdown. You best believe I'm going to run in the opposite direction. And then I was thinking, if I was to get sacked, I would be out.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be the worst player. I would be like done. They'll be like, look at that one hit wonder. I would have a concussion. I'd be out for the entire season. So hats off to these guys that are built so strong. Because these guys that are coming on the receiving end, they're tough, and boom, they take you. And I'm like, when they sack him and he goes down, like, sometimes.
And they want to like basically injure you because remember, if your star quarterback is gone, they won the game. Like, they know they're going to be golden.
Yes.
I just have a funny story that you guys made me think because of how dangerous the sport is. When I was in Minnesota, so I was dating a guy who lived in Minnesota. And so I wanted to fit in. So I went and bought one of the Vikings jersey. So I was in I think Macy's or something. And this one, me, I'm cheap, right? I was like, I'm going to wear it like once or twice. I don't want to spend a lot.
So you bought and returned it?
So no, listen. So I went to go buy this one jersey because it was on clearance for like $20. And I was like, and normally the jerseys were all like between $80 to $200. So I went to go pay for it. And the lady goes, you know who this player is, right? I was like, no clue. I'm just buying this to fit in with my boyfriend and his friends. And she's like, yeah, he's the player who beat his girlfriend or his wife and is in jail. I was like, oh, I won't buy this. Okay. Thank you for telling me that.
$8.
She said, there's a reason why it's on clearance. Nobody wants to buy
myself, like, if I was, let's say, I wouldn't, first of all, I would be a lousy quarterback because I wouldn't play no game. I'd be like, I'm sacked, I'm out for the season.
She would see them coming at them and she would just start running the other way. And it would be
I would
safety.
take the football and start running. I want to just do that for fun. Like, can you imagine if we do that? And I want to experience what it feels like to be a player where a whole bunch of people are charging after you. And I want to see how quickly can I make it to the other side?
They'll get you, Ange.
No.
They're trained.
They're quick.
They're
Okay.
trained.
We tried having a family football game like years ago when we had a picnic, and because the ground was very unlevel, one of my uncles got very upset and said he's not playing anymore because it's too dangerous for him. Which makes sense because he almost rolled his ankle. But keep in mind when everyone's drinking, like it's very easy to fall.
Yeah, he's on his fifth beer at that point.
Yeah.
And can you imagine the games that they play? So here's another thing: is why are the stadiums open stadiums? Like we got.
That's one thing I don't like.
Why don't-
It should be all covered so it evens the playing field. Like if you're the Miami Dolphins, you play in like 25, 30 degree year weather all year round. And then you got to go play somewhere like Kansas City where it's snowing.
Minus
Your
10.
body's
Not used to that.
It's not fair. That team got
100%.
used to playing in that field.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think when they narrowing it down now here, when they have 12 teams, they should be playing in like neutral stadiums where that are covered.
You can't.
So
You got to build your
even-
fan base. So your fan base is what's coming to support you. Is like if Kansas City's going there, how many people from Vancouver or Seattle are going to go support Kansas City? You got to have your own team, your own people
but
there.
they need retractable roofs. Like BC Place Stadium, we are one of the leaders in that. We have a retractable roof for our.
I didn't know that.
BC Place is a retractable.
Very cool.
Are you talking about
roof.
BC or was it GM Place?
It's BC Place Stadium.
Oh.
Yeah, GM Place.
know
that.
That was an old term.
I thought BC Place was just fixed. I didn't know they had opened.
No, BC Place, they fixed it as a retractable roof now. Okay, let's get into here. Let's get into some good stuff here.
Yeah.
Let's get into the food segment here. Okay, Rose, as you know, we love talking about food. So let's get over to you. What do you want to see at every Super Bowl party that you go to?
Nachos. I love me some nachos. That's the time you're allowed to make excuse and have a lot of cheese and sour cream. So I love eating nachos on Super Bowl. I'm not a hot wing person. You guys know that about me. I don't do that. I know that's everybody's staple when they have a Super Bowl party. But for me, I love me some nachos.
Vegetarian nachos or ones with the meat?
Well, now that I like to eat more vegetarian food, probably vegetarian. Add some jalapenos, some tomatoes, some onions, and we can do some plant-based meat too if you like. But I would be fine with chicken on it.
Oh boy, I don't know what Super Bowl party you're going to. Like vegan parties? I'm not going there. Al, what about you?
I love me some wings, but I really like spinach dip. Spinach dip is really good, especially if it's that like hot cheese spinach dip some people make.
That one's good.
That's soft solid.
Okay, mine are nachos, and I make really good nachos, and I do with the seasoned ground chicken, so that's mine.
Nachos is always like solid.
I love, now that we're getting older, I know the benefits of, or I know that chicken wings are not that good for you, but chicken wings are really good. I love the hot spinach and artichoke dip.
That's what I was meant to say. I said hot spinach.
So hot, that is a game changer.
That's the one.
And another one that I want to introduce that I think everyone should probably Google this recipe up. It's super easy. My cousin Raj made this at our Christmas party. It's called cheesy bread. Oh, that's a game changer.
Freakishly delicious. Looked terrible, but tasted great.
Yeah. So cheesy bread needs to be on the menu there. Okay, now let's get into should we have desserts? Do people need to have desserts at their Super Bowl parties?
No, because you're drinking.
Most people are drinking booze, so they
when
don't
I'm drinking,
go for
I don't
it.
like sugar.
Yeah, 'cause
I
your
have
sugar,
dessert.
you're already getting your fulfilling sugar from the booze.
Yeah.
Okay,
But ice cold beer is solid at Super Bowl.
Okay, I disagree because for me, I think when there's food, there naturally has to be dessert. So if you have cheesecake, if you have brownies, chocolate chip cookies, any array of selection of desserts, I think you should have that. And please don't ever put Nanaimo bars at any party because I'm not a fan of those.
No one likes the Nanaimo bars.
No one does. The coconut in there.
I don't know why people make that stuff and who eats it.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get into Super Bowl halftime commercials. Okay, let's talk about, I have one of our, a favorite of mine, and I have a feeling it's all three of ours.
Go for
So
it.
let's talk about this commercial.
Let's do it at the same time.
Okay. Whoa.
Oh, sort of the iPad.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So we have, I got to get this thing.
I think we should
sorted out.
all just say at the same time.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
But I'm going to build it up here right now. So this is by far one of the best Super Bowl commercials of
Hands
all
down.
time.
Hands down.
It's heartwarming.
Yeah.
It's going to melt your heart and pull at your heartstrings. It's Budweiser's Super Bowl number 48 commercial called Puppy Love, and it's a story and it's a commercial between a horse and a dog, and in the end, it's the best Bud slogan. Why does that commercial pull our heartstrings? And we're going to show it to you right here, right now.
Take a look right here.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. And when I go out, Yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more, just to be with the world, 1,000 miles, to fall down at your door.
What is it about that commercial that we love?
That was an amazing commercial.
That's it. And there's a three parts that, by the way, so you guys, we're going to give you just one of them, but you can go on YouTube and get part 2 and part 3. And let me tell you, anytime I feel like life has made me a little stone cold and I want to do a pulse check of like, am I getting a little too hard? I go put on that Budweiser commercial and then I cry and I go, okay, good. Life hasn't hardened me. I'm still here. Like, because it pulls on your heartstrings. And my uncle, my aunt came from Australia. They're elderly. Full-on Fufuji came, and I was like, let me see if this gets down right, because Fufuji is very hard to like blow away. Put it on for him. I go, I want you to watch this Super Bowl this commercial, and he was like, oh, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I was like, I gotcha.
But one thing is,
He's like, I can't believe a beer company made this.
Fufu's getting softer as he's aging now. Have you noticed he's getting older?
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
I bet you after that, he was like, somebody get me a beer. Preferably Budweiser.
What is it about that commercial you love, Elle?
It pulls on your heartstrings.
Yep.
It's got the right elements of a good story. And you start feeling bad for the puppy, especially when the wolves come. And then you see the horses come to save him. It was amazing.
It was like loyalty, tribalism, I got your back, all of that piled together in this story, this 1 minute. And like, we do editing, so I can tell you that was probably extremely hard work for them to do that 1 minute and get all the perfect song, the perfect guy. Everything was just queued up to the T.
They must have had a psychologist on their team.
Absolutely.
Or do some market research to say this is what's like working.
Kudos
because
to Budweiser.
Something about that was just everything was perfectly lined up. I was like, wow.
Best commercial.
Well, when we're taping, as human beings, we're so difficult to work with. I can't imagine what it was like working with animals. And you have
They're probably
2-star animals.
They're probably easier.
Animals are probably way easier to work with. Yeah.
Less personality.
It's harder to work with these 2 animals over here.
but for me,
humans, the worst type of species out there.
I agree.
Well, we got siblings. That's another
dynamic.
Siblings there. We actually just had a big rant for an hour before we started taping.
Sometimes I just want to put them in a headlock and just tell them stop.
We really should just do a WWF.
We really should. I think we should take it out. Yeah.
Okay.
But wait, you guys are also not remembering. You guys probably forgot about this, but one of my other first favorite Super Bowl commercials was The Office linebacker Terry Tate. It was first created for the Super Bowl back in 2003, and after that it just took off because anyone that's ever worked in an office environment, it was like thinking this in the back of their mind, and these guys created it. It was basically someone that you go to get your coffee, and when someone has drank the last bit of coffee, no one made the new pot of coffee. Mm-hmm. You're like, why would people do this? So you got an office linebacker to go and basically like correct people, and basically he mows you down in the office and grabs you you didn't. It's like, if you finish the Joe, you better make some mo, things like that. You gotta watch it. I'll put a clip in here too. It's like the.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, buddy.
Whoa! You know you can't bring that weak ass stuff up in this Humpty Bumpy. You killed it, Joe. You make some more. You know that, baby. Else you in for a long day. A long day. Cause Triple T's up in this bitch.
Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't know that.
Yes, you're right. That commercial is humorous.
That one famous.
Yeah. Whereas the Super Bowl, the Best Buds commercial, it pulls at your heart.
Yeah, they're 2 different levels of what it was.
Yeah, I love that Super Bowl commercial, the Best Buds one. That's the story between the horse and the puppy, because those are 2 of my favorite animals.
Yeah, me too.
And for me, it's the way they build it up. There's a climax, then that's a good ending, right? And it's all that suspense with the wolf chasing the dog, and the horses come to to save them. So it's that element of everything everything that we want between like good versus evil. So
Right.
that's what I love for me. One of my hands down best commercials, and hope you got to enjoy that as well. If you've never seen that commercial before, let us know what you think and comment.
And if you liked it, hit that like button.
Yep.
Yeah, and then comment and then below and let us know what you thought. Okay, let's get into here. Which performer? Let's talk about your halftime shows. Which has been your all-time favorite performer or halftime shows, Rose?
Okay. So there's been a lot of great performers. I know Michael Jackson did it back in the 90s. Beyonce's killed it. For me, and because I'm a Jennifer Lopez fan, I think she killed it. And the reason I think she killed is she's 50 years old when she did the Super Bowl. Like she wasn't no spring chicken, you know what I mean? And she was up on that pole there, dancing her butt off. I didn't think she needed Shakira. I think she could have headlined all by herself and maybe brought some of her rapper friends on. But to me, that was captivating to just watch this woman up there give it her all, you know, that 7-8 minutes of performing. And again, I think I really value that age factor, that she's not this 25-year-old girl up there doing it. She's older, and she gave it, I thought, was one of the best performances.
Nice. Al, what about you?
I really enjoyed when they finally brought on some hip hop West Coast. They had Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Kendrick, the whole team around there. Basically, all the people I think were on Aftermath Records. But I do wish though they didn't acknowledge Nipsey Hussle at all. This was only about a year or two after his passing. And as anyone that lives in LA or in that area, Nipsey Hussle was not just up and coming. He is like a big, like, what's the word? He's a big person in that hip hop community. What he was just doing for his area, he should have been recognized. There should have been like a slideshow about him saying we're recognizing, because this was, I think it was shot was in LA, that Super Bowl. That's why they had Dr. Dre and everybody perform there. Because when you have that many West Coast people, he basically had all the major West Coast hip hop people perform, and you didn't include Nipsey. It was like, yeah, he's passed, but there should have been some sort of like recognition of him in his time. But other than that, that was probably one of my favorite.
How about you, Ange?
For me, I am a huge fan of this individual. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson. So for me, watching Michael Jackson's halftime performance in 1993 for me was epic, because as most of you know, there's nothing worse than going to a concert or a halftime show and your artist doesn't even play any of your favorite songs. Like the Drake show that I went to, like, Drake, I just wanted you to play one song that I know, like One Dance or Mia. He didn't play any of those. So Michael Jackson played all of his greatest hits. And one thing that I liked is if you actually go back and watch that, they've, I think, re-rendered that into 4K on YouTube. Ooh. But if you watch it, he actually finished off with a song, which is the Heal the World song. And it was Make the World a Better Place. And he brought everybody on stage. And I feel that performance till this date resonates with me, because we're trying to make the world a better place.
And I love that you said that, because I've been really downloading a lot of his music, Ange, and adding it into our reels. Something is taking me towards a lot of his healing songs, his Earth song, and They Don't Care About Us. So it's funny to see that, because that was his message, and that's our message, and it's slowly getting me into his.
Maybe he's living through, he's talking to us from the other side. But here's the thing, listen, I know he's very controversial. People always talk stuff about him, but at the end of the day, we got to look at talent, right? Talent is talent is talent. And I think he was a very talented individual. So, you know, what he stood for during that halftime performance, trying to bring the world together, and the song that he closed with, because that's what you remember. And so for me, I was quite young at that time when I watched that, but for me, it still strikes a chord with me. Okay. So last question, do we want to make some bold predictions? So
hang on, before you go to the last question, I want to ask you guys, I have a question I have. Who's your favorite football player and why? Al, who's your all-time? It could be all.
Once again, I'm stated that I'm not a big football or sports fan. I became a Raiders fan from my family members and my bros. That obviously by default, it's like I'm not gonna be a random team that I don't know and be the one guy that doesn't get invited at all the parties. So I ended up being actually watching Jerry Rice a lot growing up. Oh. He was really awesome. So he was probably one of my top players.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. For me, I'm gonna go back way back. This is when I was really into sports. I'm gonna have to say Deion Sanders and Joe Montana. Any reason why? Not really. I just think Joe Montana and both Deion Sanders, they played with grit, heart, and soul. And maybe that's what I liked. And I think that when they were starting out, they weren't that well known, but they proved themselves.
I think just Joe Montana is a cool name. I just kept hearing like Joe Montana. I'm like, oh man, that's cool.
Yeah. And he played for, I believe, the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. Rose, my favorite is Brady. I'm a Brady fan. He's a GOAT. I mean, I love that he just keeps going after it and pushing the barriers, pushing the limits, and just being so obsessed with his craft, right? Like even in his off time, there's videos of him like at the beach playing football. He was somebody who was so committed to his craft.
He's so
I just
passionate, right?
passionate. I just love that about him. So yeah, I'd say he's my favorite.
Can I say another person's name quickly? Too?
Yeah.
I felt some connection. I mean, I know his career was short-lived, but Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, me too. I love Kaepernick.
Yeah.
I like what he stood for,
Yeah.
unfortunately, though, but they tried to make an example out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the universe probably has more for him.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's make some bold predictions here.
Okay.
We have no clue how it's going to go down. We have no clue what's going to happen. So we have Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs. We have San Francisco 49ers and Detroit Lions left. 4 teams. What do we want to go for?
Before we answer that question, do you know what the the advisors are saying?
Yeah,
Who they think is going to win?
They're saying that San Francisco's favored to win the Super Bowl.
I think it's who's gonna make it there will be 49ers and
Chiefs.
Kansas City
Me
Chiefs,
too.
and up to there, then it's gonna be who fucks up basically, who makes a bad play, and that, because I think last year when the Chiefs played, we watched that game and it was a really tight game with the Ravens.
It was a great
It was a
game.
good game. It was very tight.
Yeah.
So
My money's on Chiefs. Mahomes is like a different beast.
I want to go just 49ers just because I know half our family, for some reason, they either love them or hate them. And it's either really close this way. They've always had their rivalry with the Raiders.
Yep.
I don't know. I'd like to see them win because I don't think they've won in a long time.
Yeah.
So they need a win. Chiefs just won last year. Don't be greedy, man. Share that shit.
Okay, so you're saying 49ers?
Yeah.
All of our American family that watches is be like, yay, 49ers.
Yep.
Because let's be real, by default, for some reason, a lot of Indian people just seem to love the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
I think it's West Coast. Like if Seattle Seahawks were in there, you'd go for Seahawks by default.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's all our American families in California.
Yeah. And if the Chiefs didn't win last year, that wouldn't also hold weight. They just won.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, so your prediction is 49ers.
Yeah.
You're saying the Chiefs?
I think Mahomes is about a beast, and when that guy is on his,
you want to take a bet on that?
yeah, I'll
20
take him.
Whoa, live bet,
25
live bet.
US dollars.
Live bet. Shake it.
US
Shake it. You have to
Alright.
shake to count on it.
Alright.
Oh,
Okay.
right there.
Yep.
Come on, Chiefs.
I'm not a gambler, so I'm going to do no
49.
betting, but I think Mahomes has got some grit and some more juice in him. And I think he's going to try and do it one more. And I think for Travis Kelce, he wants to show off in front of his girlfriend. It's like, yeah, look at me.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot about Taylor Swift. Damn it. They have that effect too.
So I think that Travis Kelce really wants to win it for Tay-Tay this year. And I think, when it's a man on a mission, he wants to prove something. So I'm calling it for Kansas City, and we will find out.
And how about we make a prediction? What if he loses? Do you think Taylor Swift will leave him?
No.
Yeah. Imagine Taylor Swift. She'd be like, I brought you millions of more people and give you the energy and you couldn't complete the job. You couldn't perform.
Yeah.
It's not on my tour.
Okay, perfect. So let's close it. So let us know what your predictions are in the comment section below. Let us know who you think is going to take the Super Bowl. So until next week, friends and family, please take care of yourself. Think about your win of the week. Let us know if you made any of the recommended party snacks that we told you about. Please go ahead and subscribe and check us out on all of our social channels. We would love your support. It's year 2, baby. It's year 2, and we're going to go big this year. So please take care of yourself. Tribe Called Dhillon podcast is signing off for now. Until next week, please take care of yourself. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.